Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be talking about how to be more assertive in meetings, in the workplace or outside, doesn't matter. But how do you become more assertive when you are on your feminine journey? Okay, so this is one of I would say if I had the opportunity to do an FAQ, this is one of the questions that would show up as point three. Because there is a belief and misconception that when you are a feminine woman, you are not assertive, like you're passive. And I say this to say that when I started learning feminine energy work, that was what I thought too. I thought that I need to learn how to be more feminine so that, people don't think that I'm aggressive and that means I'm more passive now and whatnot. In its rightful sense, that is more of what I would call a wounded feminine energy embodiment in comparison to a healthy feminine embodiment. So why is this unhealthy, and why is AB calling it wounded? AB calls it wounded because when I was embodying that kind of energy, not just at work, but in my own life, I was getting taken advantage of. I'll be clear. It's not just being taken advantage of, but I was noticing that I will get really annoyed and really irritable being able or being unable to express how I was feeling. And guess what happens when you don't express your emotions properly? They get built up, and then you get into situations where you're triggered and boom, everything comes out like a champagne. Like when you pop a champagne and it's like, right? That's what happens when you don't own, feel, and release your emotions, right? Motions. Your emotions are energy in motion, right? So when you are not anything or any situation or any technique or skills that teach you how to deny the way that you're feeling, I don't consider them as healthy. Okay? We are human beings for a reason. And one of the key things about human beings is we have emotions that tell us how we're feeling and whatnot. And when you are not able to express that, you are setting yourself up for failure, setting yourself up. So if you have been hearing tips about how to be a feminine woman, but one of those tips is that you're not able to express yourself authentically, I would question that. One of the key things that I teach you guys how to talk less. But talking less does not mean that you don't express the way you're feeling. Okay? They're two different things. And we'll talk about feminine communication in another video. But how it relates to the workplace. If you are on the scale of women who are there, so you have been identified as opinionated. So you're very opinionated. You're being called aggressive. You're being called too masculine. You're being called too strong. She's a strong woman. And people usually say the way that I just said it. Right? There's a way people say things that it's not really the words that they're saying, it's how they're saying it. So if you are on that scale, one of the common reasons why people are saying that is that you are expressing yourself in a way that is not common with how a woman is supposed to express herself. That's why they're saying it. So you were expressing it's very likely that you are expressing yourself like a man, the way a man would express himself. And so when people see that kind of masculine energy coming from a woman, they're like, whoa, yeah, too strong, really opinionated, right? And they say it in a way that is not flattering. All right. The second end of the scale is the woman that is completely quiet and has no confidence and has no confidence or is practicing feminine energy from an unhealthy place. And so what's going to happen is people are going to not notice her, especially at work, or they're going to say that she's passive, right? They're not going to want to consult her in the workplace and even in life, actually. In life, this happens in life, right? You're not gonna find that people take you seriously. That's it. You're going to notice that people don't take you seriously if you are doing that. They might be providing for you, they might be doing things for you, but when it comes to situations where they need a partner and they really need somebody that they respect enough to be able to seek your opinions, they are not going to come to you. So that's why you don't want to be on that scale as well. So I don't want you to throw away your femininity if you're on that scale, because that is what's going to help you to move to the middle. And the middle is what I call the intellectual queen. So this is the woman that, especially if she's at work, the intellectual queen, if she's at work or she's running her business, she has her masculine side developed. So the part that helps her do things and execute things. But at the same time, she has her feminine part, the part that helps her be more emotionally intelligent, the one that's more in touch with her body so she can feel what's going through her body and be able to communicate it better. The one that is authentic to who she is and is not performing for other people to approve her and say, you go girl, right? She's just showing up as her. So you want to be on that scale in the middle where you're balancing, you're switching between your feminine and your masculine, and you're utilizing each energy for what it's supposed to be used for, okay? And you're utilizing it appropriately. Now, if you are a professional woman in the workplace, you have to learn how to express yourself and be assertive for the things that you are doing, for the things that you're working on, for the things that you have been given the responsibility to handle. And one of the very first things that you can start doing to be more assertive and own who you are is you need to understand and know what are you available for and what are you not available for. So when I say what are you available for, this means what do you like? What are your values? Like what feels good to you? Okay? What are you not available for means what you don't like, what is more like a pet peeve, what you dislike, and what does not align with your values. Why is knowing this important? Okay. Knowing this is important because when you get into a meeting and you encounter a situation where the energy that's coming towards you is something that you're not available for and you need to speak up to create a boundary against that, that's where knowing will help you. Because if you don't know what you're available for and what you're not available for, let's use the scale of the overdriven masculine woman who's very opinionated and is always barking and arguing and just criticizing people and things like that, or trying to control a situation. Let's use that. If you don't know what you're available for and what you're not available for, and you're a very masculine woman, what's going to happen is that when something that comes into your field is something you don't like, because you haven't really sat with it to understand it, you're going to react in a way that people will think that something is wrong with you. Like it's going to so trigger you to a point where you will be unable to control yourself. Because whether you know it or not, your body knows the thing. This is why feminine energy work is important. Because it all starts with knowing what you like and what you don't like and what your body has already knows. So your body knows that you don't like this thing, but you're aware, you're not conscious of it. Your brain doesn't know it yet. So when the thing happens, it's going to trigger you to a point where you cannot control yourself. You cannot express yourself. And what you're going to see is you're going to start yelling. The rate that you speak is going to triple. So if you were talking like this, you're going to start talking faster and faster. And then your tone is going to become more condescending and rude and disrespectful. And then if things escalate from there, it's going to feel like you're at war with whatever energy is triggering you. So this is why this knowing yourself, what you like and what you don't like, is important. Because if you don't know, then you're just exposing yourself to so many triggers and you don't know how to respond to them. Now, the woman, on the other hand, the wounded feminine woman who thinks that she needs to be 100% feminine all the time, if you don't know what you like and you don't know what you don't like, when something in your field that you don't like comes in, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel it. It's going to create emotions within you, whether it's in your belly, your stomach. You're going to feel that, but you're not going to be able to correct it and put up a boundary. You're not going to be able to enforce your boundary when that thing happens. So when it occurs, it's going to get your permission to do whatever it wants to do. And what that's going to keep you doing is going to keep you feeling resentful. You're going to feel very, very resentful and just bitter and angry without nobody knowing it. Is this, I know that what I'm saying may be triggering a lot of you, but that's a very good thing. And I'm happy to be the one to trigger you. Better me than in the workplace in front of the CEO or your management. Okay. So I'll say it with love, better me than them. All right. So how do you use this to your advantage? So once you have known what you like and what you don't like, the next step is to decide what are you going to do when what you like shows up and what you don't like shows up. This is going to help you manage your emotions better so that you are more intelligent about the way you present yourself, about the way you respond to these kinds of situations. It's also going to help you and give you that confidence to be more assertive and speak up your truth or speak your truth when you need to. All right. So you are going to decide beforehand. I'll give it a good example. If you're speaking in meetings and somebody's talking over you, that could be something that is a pet peeve for you. So this is something that's like, I just am not built for that. Right? Typically, what women tend to do is they raise their voice and they start talking louder. Right? They start talking louder, or they just tell the person, I'm talking. And then they roll their eyes and then they continue, right? Sound familiar? Or another reaction that many women would do, and I used to do this too, is that somebody starts talking over you, you then stop talking and refuse to speak again. Like you refuse to speak again. Like that's the end, whatever. And then you just get up and leave the meeting very angry and just very irritable. And then you come back and say, I hate the workplace. So what's the balance there? How do you balance this? How do you show that? How do you become more assertive in the workplace in a much more healthy manner? So these are the things that I'm teaching you. Okay, these steps are going to help you show up. All right, let's move to step 3. Okay, so the next step is When you are triggered or feeling triggered and you feel you need to assert yourself, pause, breathe before you speak. Pause, breathe before you speak. You need to pause and breathe if you're feeling triggered. Because when you're feeling triggered, there's a rush of emotions that you're feeling at the point. You're either feeling disrespected, you're feeling some kind of way that happened in the past, and now your body's bringing you back to that moment where somebody first did it to you but did not heal. So you're going to have to pause and allow the emotions pass through so that you can be clear in your communication. When you speak from a triggered place, they cannot hear you. They cannot understand you. It's like you're saying, gobble, 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 and, or sorry, sorry. What I was trying to say is like you're saying, I don't like what you did, but what they're hearing is gobble, 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 because you're feeling triggered. And the energy of a triggered person, when somebody's in your presence, they're going to feel a rush. It's like somebody's rushing at you that you can't really understand what they're saying. It's going to feel like that. They can feel that triggered energy, so they're not going to be able to hear you. So in the previous example that I gave, like somebody interrupting you in a meeting while you're speaking, that used to happen to me quite a lot when I was in my masculine overdriven energy. I know, because when you're a very masculine woman, you think that you have a strong front and whatnot. But I learned very quickly is that people are able to see behind the facade. And typically when a woman is in her strong masculine overdriven energy all the time, it's a sign of insecurity. And so people pick up on that, and subconsciously they trigger you via that. So if you're experiencing that situation where you're noticing that people are talking over you in meetings and whatnot, don't increase your voice. Like, don't raise your voice and get upset. Don't turn on them and eyeball them and then turn back and hiss and whatever. Like, don't be disrespectful back to them if somebody's been disrespectful to you. Okay? Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to create and enforce your boundaries. So when you're speaking and somebody starts speaking over you, you're going to pause because you're not available for people to speak over you. So you're going to pause. You're going to take a deep breath, because you're going to, if you haven't healed this trigger, it's going to trigger you. So you're going to pause, take a deep breath, allow the emotion to pass through while they're chatting. When they're done, resume what you were saying in the same tone, being crystal clear, and continue what you were doing. What's going to happen? This is the art of being a professional woman and a healthy one. What's going to happen is the person, most of the time, 99%, what I have noticed is if that actually happens, the person who's doing that, they're going to self-correct before they finish whatever it is that they're saying. They're going to self-correct it, and they're going to apologize and say, I'm sorry, please keep going on. 99%. When I used to be in my masculine overdriven energy, I used to get that a lot, and I would have to be the one to correct it. But I would get upset, get triggered, and it's like, I hate the workplace and things like that. When I switched and started doing and becoming that healthy woman and knowing and understanding my feminine nature, what happened, that rarely happens to me when I'm speaking and somebody starts speaking over me. But if they do that, they're going to feel it in my energy that I'm not available for that. They feel it and they self-correct. And they do it very quickly. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to call them out and say, you have to do this. What I'm finding is that they are self-correcting ASAP, and they will apologize, or they will redirect the conversation to say what she was saying and then pause from there. Okay, but if you're in a situation where the person doesn't self-correct, they don't have that self-awareness too, then you're going to have to enforce the boundaries immediately. In fact, your boundaries will be enforced when that happens. So this is the key thing about having boundaries and owning them. They get enforced even when you're not doing it from a conscious perspective. So the way that you can handle that situation is allow the person to have their moment, pause, take a deep breath, and when they're done, continue what you were saying. You can say, oh, I was, just before I got interrupted there, this is what I was saying. And don't say it from a shading perspective, like I'm shading you. Just be straightforward, be clear, be open, and just say, oh, just before I got interrupted, I was saying this, that. They're probably not going to do that again. They're probably not going to do that again because they're going to start feeling like they probably shouldn't have done that. Like, I know if I do that to somebody, I'm going to apologize right immediately and say, hey, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Okay. But 99% of the time, if you heal your triggers and you heal from inside out, when you start seeing some of the things that women tend to experience in the workplace, in fact, you're going to notice that you're not going to be seeing them anymore. Yes, you're going to be seeing less and less of them because from an energetic perspective, you are not attracting that. So when your energy is not attracting that, it's not going to show up. Like when your energy is, I am not available for anybody to disrespect me like that, disrespect will disappear because the person who's doing that is going to see and say, and no, that's not the kind of person you want to do that to. They will respect themselves and not do it to you. Okay, so these are quite a lot of tips that I gave you guys here. I wasn't expecting to spend this long in this video, but I do have a couple of more that I want to share that many women have been experiencing and I don't know how to deal with that. So I hope this helps you. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Other than that, I will see you in my next video.